right, welcome back to Everyone Needs an Aquarius. Dom, how are you doing? Shout out to everybody that came to the live on Surviving Diddy. Go check that out on either one of our channels. But how you been though, sweetheart?
I just realized you have on a Biggie t-shirt.
You didn't trip off that before?
No, I was like, look, now I don't have nothing to do with each other, but I got on my Selena t-shirt.
Selena artist.
Two people tragically murdered in life ended too soon. I think they was the same age, 27.
Oh, no, Biggie's 25, I believe.
25. Okay. I think it was Pac that was 27.
Mm-hmm.
Because they always talk about that number and artists.
Because it's supposed to be like the unlucky number. Because I believe Jimi Hendrix too, or something like that.
Yeah.
And Janis Joplin.
Amy Winehouse.
And Otis Redding too.
Who?
Otis Redding.
Kurt Cobain.
27. Is that 27 Club? It's 27 Club. It's called.
Yeah. So yeah, I'm good. Taking things a day at a time. You know, trying to stay healthy. Working in the school. The weather is really weird. It'll be like 50s in the morning. Today was 85. It's hot. Yeah. So the temperature is gonna drop. So it's just.
I mean, for y'all, dropping is not like.
No, when the temperature it normally doesn't drop like 30 something degrees. It'd be like a 10, 15 degree difference, but that 30 is a huge. I mean, it'd be freezing in the morning. So, like I said, it was like 50 something this morning, and it's 85 right now.
Dang.
So, yeah. So I'm good. I'm good.
Yeah, but shout out to everybody that came to the live for Surviving Diddy as we discussed the Diddy documentary Day of Reckoning. Also later in the show, we'll be having an interview with author Alan Govenar. We'll be discussing his books and different things. It's gonna be pretty fly, y'all. It's pretty in-depth stuff when he does a lot of photography, a lot of things around blues and black culture. So definitely tune in for that later on in the show. But let's go with Ray J first, Dom. You got all run all this down.
Look, I was too busy looking at the 27 Club. I was like, wait, who else is in it? And it was like Basquiat.
Oh, read them off then for people. Read them off for people.
Yeah, so it's Robert Johnson, who is a blues musician. Brian Jones of the Rolling Stones, Jimi Hendrix, Janis Joplin, Jim Morrison. He is buried in, I think, Paris.
Okay.
Brian Pigpen McKernan. He's from the Grateful Dead. Chris Bell, Alan Wilson, Richie Edwards, Kristen Pfaff is in the band Hole, Jean-Michel Basquiat, Kurt Cobain, Amy Winehouse. So I think
because I think Pac is 25 or 26 too.
Yeah, I was like Pac might have been 26.
Yeah.
And I'm looking it up. Oh, nope. Oh, he's 27.
He was.
And then Selena, I thought
Pac was 27.
No, he was 25. So him and Biggie were the same age.
Yep. Okay.
And then she was 23. So that is my bad, y'all. Misinformation. So, but yes. I remember Amy Winehouse for sure. I remember Jim Morrison and Kurt Cobain. Yeah, man, fucking Ray J. We talk about Ray J a lot. We talk about the art of Ray J a lot. I have a whole podcast episode on Whiskey Soured if you want to go back with myself and Daryl and Blake Symphony. Mm-hmm. And we talk about
the art of Blake on here, man, too. We got to bring Blake on here, too.
Yes, and how a lot of things, Ray J is just always somewhere. And when we talk about this beef between Bad Boy and Death Row, he is the little cousin of Snoop Dogg, who also snitched and said that Faith Evans was hugged up with Tupac. Allegedly. We like to say allegedly here because y'all like to act a fool over here.
Very true.
So allegedly. So over the Thanksgiving holiday, we'll start there. Ray J was allegedly arrested for pulling a gun out on Princess, and I believe it was on live, if I'm not mistaken. And whatever it was, it had something to do with her cousin trying to get the kids like away from him and all of this stuff. probably alcohol. Thanksgiving is involved. So
Mhm.
it starts there. So I'm trying to pull up the article Ray J pulls. Sorry guys. So I can get all the information, because this is why I think he did this follow-up.
Okay.
So it says, during a chaotic live stream, yes, it was on live stream on Instagram, Ray J was arrested after he allegedly pulled a handgun and threatened his estranged wife, Princess Love, and another man in his home, which ends up being Princess Love's cousin by marriage. The incident unfolded during a heated argument where Ray J was heard making verbal threats while holding a loaded firearm on camera. The dispute started when Princess Love and her cousin came to Ray J's home to pick up the children for the holiday. Ray J accused them of being drunk and trying to take his kids away, which Princess Love denied. During the live stream, Princess can be heard accusing him, "You just pointed a gun at me, Ray," which Ray J denied. However, Ray J was clearly heard on the stream threatening a man, saying, "I'll shoot the fuck out of you. Get out of my house before I shoot you right now." Okay, so the police responded to a domestic violence call around 4 a.m. and found the situation consistent with the reports from the live stream. Ray J was taken into custody and booked on a charge of making a criminal threat. Bails was set at $50,000. He was later released that day. So, yes. So I say all this to say, now we have this drama with the Boys Mind Tour where Ray J goes on live and says that Beyonce and Jay-Z are out of pocket for saying hi to everybody else, lollygagging, taking pictures with everybody else except for Brandy.
Okay.
And said that they need to make matters right and come to the tour, take pictures and stuff with Brandy to make it all right. And you forgot one thing. Beyonce is there for Kelly.
Not for Brandy.
Everybody else that's in the hallway getting, that. There's a video where they tell everybody move out the way to make way for Brandy. Beyonce moves out the way to make way for Brandy. So now it's this whole conversation of, is there a beef between Brandy and Beyonce? So now the internet is going wild. And now he deflects from the situation at hand, which is, hey, I made these threats, these criminal threats against my estranged wife. I thought they were divorced, but I guess not. On Thanksgiving with this gun, I got arrested. And so now I want y'all to talk about something else instead of talking about me. And everybody is now doing these deep dives of, like somebody said, Beyonce, not Brandy and Jay-Z used to talk back in the day. To pulling clips from the reality show that Brandy had at one point where she pretty much called Kelly a black ass, said she was too dark because they had went to, I guess the girls had went to do a show or something like in Jamaica or whatever. And she was like, "Oh, we saw you somewhere, whatever, blah, blah, blah." She's like, "Yeah, you was real dark." Like, and I was like, dang, I'm like, so it's old stuff that people are trying to bring to the forefront. They're saying that Brandy was making like little shady comments under Beyonce's post and subtweeting her on her stories and all this stuff. We don't know what's true and what's fake because the internet likes to take a topic and run wild. They may not have beef, but you want to know for damn sure what's not going to happen, that they're not going to be taking a picture anytime soon, because Ray J even said, "My sister don't know I'm doing this. So I'm saying this. Y'all need to." So because of that, we'll never probably see a picture of them ever again. There is one picture that I know of, but outside of that, it's nothing else. So I think Ray J did this just to stir the pot, to get us not talking about
what he got going on.
What he has, because that's a huge deal. Your ass got arrested, and like they said, it was enough that lined up with what the calls were on this stream to take your ass in, and you had to be bailed out. So yeah, It's a lot of weird things happening on Ray J's timeline, and you and I. And I hate to say this, but like sometimes it makes you wonder, okay, so what's going on? Are you sober? What's like going through your mind? Like, do you need to talk to somebody? Because then, I don't know. Then he posted, which I sent you. I was like, hey, he posted online.
There's something wrong with that man, yo.
He said that Mario, the singer, sent him a message and said, Satan wants your soul. I spoke to him today. LOL. Don't give it to him. He said, not on no gay shit. Don't try to flip it like I'm talking about entity introductions. You know where you are trying to go. I can get you. And he clearly has to be hacked. Like this page, like Mario's page.
Oh,
and yeah, like you're clearly hacked. And it was like, I can get you there sooner. No one will be able to get you out. I got you, kid. Your soul is going now. So I'm like, what is going on? So
but why did Ray J? Does Ray J not know he's hacked, or he's just being an asshole?
I don't know. But all he said, Mario is wild for this one. Damn, bro, it wasn't this serious. Shaking my head. You talk to the devil, and now you taking my soul. I don't know. Like it's really weird. And I thought maybe this was fake. I hella went to his page, and I saw it. It was really there.
So this is a real thing.
I don't know. That's look, you know where I'm not going tonight? The Mario concert.
Just to make sure.
No thanks.
But it's so Ray J's an interesting fellow, man.
Ray J is so interesting, and I'm just like,
and I don't know if it's for bad or good, to be honest with you.
At first, it used to be funny, and because like at the end
but
of
now
the
he's
day,
45
we felt like
old.
Ray J really wasn't trying to harm anybody, and so it used to be funny at first, but now it's kind of like, okay, nigga,
what are we doing now, Ray?
What are we doing? Like seriously, I'm concerned. I'm genuinely concerned, Ray J.
Yeah, Ray J gotta stop this shit. He just gotta stop this shit, man.
Yeah,
I get that all publicity is good publicity, and he likes to keep at least something going on that he can at least get something. But some of this stuff would he's just wilding.
Yeah, and I just like I don't know. I'm looking. He just posted. Now he has look. I
as a journalist, you heard me say what I said, and that's kind of what cranked this whole thing up. But then fast forward to the documentary. And I still niggas multiple times. What happened? Party? You nigga owe you some money? Yo, what the fuck is going on in this world, bro?
So he's talking about clearly the Puffy Diddy documentary, and I mean Puffy 50 documentary, and that's what he was like as a journalist.
Ray J's not no goddamn journalist.
Oh, it's a lot. So he's like, I just can't with Ray J at the moment. And like I said, like at one point it used to be funny, used to be fun and games. And I'm just like, okay, what happened? Like, where did the lines get drawn? But these are things that Brandy also spoke about, before on her reality show, and was saying how,
her brother be wilding.
Yeah, he be wilding, and y'all don't say nothing to him, but expect a certain type of behavior from me. So yeah, I don't know. It's too much.
Yeah, I'm not even. I hope all this works out for him over life in general. I hope this all works out for him, and he gets to where he believes he should be.
Absolutely.
That I hope this is all worth it and he gets to where he needs to be. That's all I'm saying. That's what I look at this. That's how I look at this with that brother. Yeah.
I can't deal. I know I got the hiccups.
Yeah, I am. And now you got the hiccups. It's son of a bitch. All right, Dom. Let's go. We just got off of Surviving Diddy, but it's a segment we didn't talk about on there. 2 segments we didn't talk about on there that we will be talking about now. So it's time to cue it on up. All right, Surviving Diddy. You do your story first, and then I'll do mine.
Okay, which one you want to do?
I'm doing the Gene Deal. You doing?
Okay.
Yeah.
I am doing this one where we are speaking about the judge has approved Clayton Howard's, which is the escort that we saw on the Reckoning documentary, request to serve Cassie with his lawsuit in a different manner as she is evading service. Mr. Howard is filing a lawsuit against Cassie for charges related to sex trafficking, which he claims has resulted in him contracting chlamydia, along with coercion and additional allegations. Cassie will more than likely be hit with a default judgment if she keeps hiding and forced to pay the man millions.
Woo!
Now, hear this.
Is that's the brother from the doc, right?
That is the brother from the doc. Now, hear this. If I was Cassie, I would just let this nigga serve me the papers, because then I can enter in evidence from this documentary
of like this is why I was like that.
This documentary, my lawsuit, and the trial that talks about and goes through a timeline of everything that happens. Because you talk about how in this documentary, there's no signs that you were coerced. It sounds so coerced.
Yep.
into any sort of situation. The only thing that you know of, I think he also mentions being videotaped and what they was doing with his semen. And he talks about that. You talk about how much you get paid, but not once did you say, I felt threatened. Now, I told him, I checked him a couple of times on this when he was like, he hit her, and I was like, hey man, don't be doing it. He's like, you ain't gonna do shit. We all saw the documentary. If I was Cassie and I was Cassie's attorney, I would say, just get served. And we're gonna take it from here. Because what he's also wrong, like I think it's fucked up that he's trying to play victim right now. When this should also fall back on Diddy, but then this also kind of speaks to what we talk about. Maybe Diddy don't have as much money as everybody thinks.
Bingo, bango.
And we know that nigga got money in an offshore account.
They already talking. We talk about another thing where his mama owns 75%,
right?
On another percentage, yeah.
So it is. So it's like, well, shit. If it looked like he don't got it, so I gotta go to her because I know she got paid out XYZ. So it's easier for me to go here when this is easily like you can defend this, and like because it's the same thing with Todd and Candy's divorce. Todd is trying to say that they need to throw out the prenup because he was signed it under duress, and it's like, but you didn't. It showed that they show it on the Real Housewives, and they show it on y'all special when y'all getting married, when y'all had y'all wedding. So, and Candy and her attorneys are entering that information in that video clip in as evidence. So I think this is something that can go away really quick. The only thing is like, you know, if it's this time on now, what they might do is request medical documents, but then that also goes back to, well, I got this from Puffy, and Puffy gave this to me And then, but nobody is communicating with each other. And these are the things that you have to be mindful of, guys, when you are in open relationships, open marriages, and all this stuff, and bringing people into play.
People forget about that part of the game.
People forget about that part of it. That's why I just be, I'll be too scared. I'm too much of a hypochondriac. I'm too much of a hypochondriac for that. So I think this is an open close case. I just think he's just trying to get. I think this one for sure is a money grab.
Because he saw, oh well, you know, she got that lawsuit.
Yeah, she got that lawsuit, and she did this. But it is, you didn't say that in the documentary. I feel like that's something that should have been mentioned. Because now it's hearsay. So were you just saying what you said to save face? Because it looks like you're her protector in this documentary. That's all I'm saying. And that's not me picking sides. That's just me looking at it from the evidence that's there.
Yeah, of like
now, unless he has, now it'd be one thing if they have some sort of communication outside where they're having a conversation about, hey, we need you to get tested, blah, 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 blah. But then they still alerted you, which is what they tell you to do. And you also are working a job that is high risk, and not saying that you're deserving of anything, but these things also come with the territory. So you have to play safer.
Yeah, which is true.
Yeah. So it's weird. Yeah.
Yeah. So my story is the great Gene Deal is back at it. You know, after this Diddy documentary drop, make sure you can go online and look at some of his interviews. He has his own thing. So I didn't know. I ain't talk about this on the other show. Gene Deal was supposed to be in this. He's the one that he mad at everybody because he's supposed to be in this doc, and he's the one that hooked them up with Kurt and the other brother that grew up with him. And they got it. They pushed him out the deal, but he said me and 50 was good. He was mad at the director, the young lady, Alex Stapleton. He mad at her. He was like, y'all pushed me out the deal. He's like, well, fuck y'all then. I'm doing my own.
Well, here's the thing. Gene has been talking for a long time.
I know we can just put this all together through his clips.
Right.
Doc.
He's been talking for a long time. We know his story has not changed. So she probably thought that since he was on the other docs, that his information wouldn't be valuable to what we have.
Yeah, but the one dude that he grew up with was on the other doc too, though.
I'm saying that it's out there so much that
you're saying like all them clips out everywhere he's talking.
Yeah, it's everywhere. So okay. This is information that anybody can find on the other docs. You can Google it, whatever. But we now have information that is very, very, very important and deep. And so if we're gonna save minutes and I would rather us talk up to these other people and put that information versus Gene Deal.
Fair enough. But Gene Deal, that's not the part of this section, though. This section, Gene Deal is getting into with Misa Hylton, Diddy's first child. And here's Gene Deal. But she basically is saying that everyone's harassing her and her son after this Diddy documentary, and it's because of Gene Deal. With some of his claims, he's part of the reason. So here we go with Gene Deal.
Nigga, he can't tell you what kind of ammunition to bring to the fight.
Hold on, my bad. The whole thing that people are accusing Misa of having the baby with Wolf and not Diddy is the basis of what he's talking about here. That's to set the prime. I'm sorry, everybody.
What you gonna load up with? You're not gonna tell a nigga the ammunition that you're gonna use, because you're gonna use any and everything that comes your way. Like, for instance, you had niggas on the internet that said that I said that Wolf was Justin's father. I never said that. But did I deny it? Did I act like I didn't know? Yeah. You know why? Because anything that could hurt this nigga that I'm going to war with, if I don't have to speak on it and clarify. I ain't gonna say nah.
All right, so Gene Deal's basically like, I'm at war with Diddy, so I didn't say nothing. I ain't defend you, and I ain't say neither either because I'm at war with this nigga, and I want him to feel like Wolf is not his daddy. Wolf is his daddy.
Because I mean, did they
What if the
came up
bodyguard
in like
got
the
killed?
first?
What if DOC never got into that car accident? What if Ice Cube didn't leave NWA? What if the game never leaves G Unit? What if Teddy Riley never moves to Virginia? What if we got that J. Cole and Kendrick album? What if the RZA would have never had that flood? How would the hip-hop world sound today? Welcome to Hip Hop What Is, the podcast where we dive into the biggest what could have beens in hip-hop history. From iconic album delays to game-changing partnerships that never happened. We reimagine the culture we love and explore its alternative paths. And you are now at Hip Hop What Is.
That came up in the first episode, right?
Yeah. Wolf's the bodyguard that allegedly killed Suge Knight's friend that kicked off this whole East Coast, West Coast stuff, and is the one that was killed by BMF associate, which is that part is factual, but the other part is all alleged. The Wolf killing Buntry, I believe his name is Buntry.
Yeah,
in Atlanta. It was at the Jermaine Dupri birthday party too.
Right.
They talk about that a little bit in the doc, and that was something I was like, why don't y'all just say it was because they got into it, and Suge and Diddy went outside, and allegedly Wolf shot Buntry, his friend.
Right, because I remember that, and he was just like, "Oh, don't worry about it. Everybody gonna be okay. We good. I do remember that.
Yeah, and Buntry passed, and that's what kicked this all off. Kicked off everything that we have now. That's allegedly that's what kicked everything all off. I mean, Gene Deal's a wild boy, yo. I love Gene Deal. The way he's like, so if you think about it, why the fuck if I'm beefing with that nigga, would I say anything?
Right. I mean,
you feel me, Dom? You feel me, Dom?
In a way, I get where he getting. I get where people getting. Cause like all them kids that are biologically Puffy's kids, they look like him in a way. Like even Chance and those twins. Though Chance, like the twins look like their mama, but they also look like Diddy.
Mm-hmm.
What's his face is a Christian is a spitting, image of his daddy. And then Justin, you got Justin where it's like, interesting. Because they don't like necessarily look like he like Misa, but then it's like, okay, maybe he took his coloring like after Misa because she's lighter brown, things like that. But yeah, I don't know. Maybe she got a brother, whatever. But when you put him side by side by that man, he do look a little bit like that. But then that could also be us being niggas, like just trying to keep some mess up.
Yeah, I'm just not. I don't want to. Gene Deal's is funny to me.
Gene Deal is hilarious.
He's the best, man. And St. Louis is on. I believe he went to Vashon. He's also a member of Omega Psi Phi. He'll let you know that too. And I missed him at the cigar lounge. He was back home in St. Louis, and I missed him.
That sucks because that would have been fun to have him on here.
Oh man, we're gonna
figure that out.
We're gonna get Gene Deal. We're gonna get him. All right. Next up, we got Jason Derulo has come out. I guess I didn't even know all this stuff was going on with him with these court cases with a young lady or whatnot. That's been multiple times they've been trying to prosecute him for it. And he came out and said this that's got people upset.
Awkward women.
Oh, come
on. There's truth in every joke. But it's a sad truth. Like I will never be alone in a room with a woman that I work with, like ever again. What? It's too risky.
So this.
All right, Dom. What do you think about Jason Derulo's thoughts?
What the joke was like, he was joking prior to that, saying that he would never be alone in a room, and he like just repeated it.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know the ins and outs of the lawsuit, but I mean, I think people are. I know what he's trying to say, and so it comes across, wrong to some people. But I think it's like, okay, I'm afraid. I keep getting sued. And because this woman said, so here it is. Jason Derulo is currently involved in an ongoing sexual harassment lawsuit filed against aspiring singer Misa Dillon, also known as Misa Gibson. The case, which was previously dismissed twice on technicalities in California, was refiled in New York in September of 2025. Quid pro quo harassment. Dillon claims Derulo offered her a record deal with his label Future History, a joint venture with Atlantic Records, but pressured her to engage in sexual acts to succeed. And then she also said that the lawsuit has Derulo lunging at her and screaming, pushing her to drink alcohol during late night meetings. And one of those shocking claims is that Derulo implied she would need to participate in ritualistic sex acts, potentially involving goat skin, to advance her career.
What?
Nigga. After Dillon refused his advances, she claims Derulo withdrew support, stalled her music releases, and terminated her contract. The case was initially filed in Los Angeles in 2023, but was dismissed in 2024 because artistic agreements specified that legal disputes must be handled in New York courts. It was then refiled in New York in September of 2025.
Yeah, so on here, so I went to Misa Dillon's Instagram. She says, this is in her response to him. The case was not dismissed. You have until December 10th to respond. So that is tomorrow as a recording day. It says the court officially summoned the defendants. They now have a strict deadline to respond. So it's all this different stuff. This confirmed Jason of Future History received the lawsuit. Okay. So basically, this is supposed to be overview of the case. So she's showing all the slides of her lawsuit that she's filed, whatnot. So it has not been dismissed again. So she refiled. And it's with someone else too. Future, it's another Future out here named Future History. His name? Oh wow.
No, that's the name of the label.
Oh, okay. That's the name of the label. Okay.
Yeah, that's the name of the label. So she refiled the lawsuit. And so I think it's one of those things, like I said, you know, we are in a state of believe victims until evidence proves otherwise. Goat skin, because that's just a huge, crazy allegation to make.
Yeah.
I'm like, that's I mean, I know like 2 Jason Derulo songs maybe, but I just think that
I don't know any songs. And I'm gonna tell you how racism is. I remember I had some coworkers like some years back that was convinced that I looked like Jason Derulo. That was their whole thing.
Have they were not black?
No, they weren't black at all. No. That's why I said racism.
Yeah, I was like, definitely
all black people don't look alike.
We don't. And now I'm looking at Jason Derulo and looking at you.
Nowhere close.
Hold on.
I mean, the ritualistic thing is wild though. Like, and I didn't know it was this popular like this, to be honest with you.
Y'all both kind of got them sad eyes. It's like how y'all eyes sit. But it's like,
so hold on, you going with them?
Oh, no. It's how your eyes sit. They kind of like slant down a little bit, but not really. Okay. Like y'all don't have the same nose, nothing.
Complexion,
nothing. Yeah, no. Mm-mm.
But I didn't know Jason Derulo was that popular. Did you know he was that popular?
No.
I mean, he's big. I believe he's big overseas.
I feel like he was like top 40. Like he was on the pop side.
Yeah.
But I don't. Like I said, I'm. Yeah. I think. Oh yeah, 2 songs that I know. It's something about a flying solo, and then his first single, I think, was with that girl that ended up judging on like American Idol or sing. But fudge. I can't think of it. Oh, it's like what you say. Have you running there? Like that. That was, I think that was his first single. So it was that, and then like that flying solo song. But I don't know nothing else. But it's not actively like I go out and I seek.
Yeah, I've heard his name in random more stuff than actually.
Like you remember that episode of Insecure, and they was trying to get to the Jason Derulo party.
Mm-hmm.
And Ryan Davis was like, Jason Derulo.
Yeah, I mean, only thing I know about Jason Derulo is he broke a soccer player named Jesse Lingard. He broke him. He had literally, his parents had died, and he had to take in like 3 or 4 kids of his brothers and sisters, and he had a girlfriend, and Jason Derulo took that girlfriend while he was doing all that stuff, and he was never the same after that, playing wise.
Oh,
so everybody over in London, in England, says that Jason Derulo broke Jesse Lingard.
Damn.
That's always been the thing that they say.
Oh, damn. Let me look that.
Yeah, Jesse Lingard, man. He ain't been the same, man.
Oh, it looks like, did he get... the baby mama.
Is that... he had a baby. He had a baby with Jesse Lingard chick?
Jason Derulo, yeah.
Oh, so he stayed with her?
Yeah, him and Jenna just broke up.
So that's who. So hold on. So is Jenna Fumez is the one? That's the girl, right?
Yeah.
Oh, so he ended up having a baby with her too? Oh,
yeah, they was. Man. I think they were engaged.
Dang, Jesse. Yeah, Jesse Lingard got broke, man. That broke that man.
Yeah, it says the connection between. Well, it says that Jason Derulo dated Fumez after she and Lingard had broken up, leading to online buzz and commentary as Fumez later of infidelity, linking back to Lingard's past relationship issues with her.
Oh, they said she was cheating on him.
So she later did. Okay, it says that. Okay, so it says in 2020, reports surfaced that Derulo and Fumez were dating and isolating together, creating a connection to Lingard as Derulo was with his ex-girlfriend. So, yeah, so it's saying that so they quarantined together.
Jesse and the girl.
Yeah, and then it says in 2022, Fumez publicly accused Derulo of cheating and disrespect, claiming he prioritized other things over their family, sparking wider discussions about infidelity in relationships. And so they said that she ended her relationship with Lingard after discovering he was cheating, making the situation that he was cheating, making the situation with Derulo a recurring theme in her public statements about relationships. Oh, so both of them were cheating.
Okay.
That's what she said.
Yeah, but he wasn't the same.
In the words of Jason Derulo, what you say?
Oh man. All right. We gonna go ahead.
No, that was just funny. I was cracking myself up. Sidebar, you asked me how I was doing.
Mm-hmm, go ahead.
I did a comedy workshop.
Yeah,
through Airbnb. At the Laugh Factory. So I got to perform at the Laugh Factory last week. How was
that?
It was amazing. I almost threw up because I was so nervous. And when it was over, I was like, oh my God, I think I'm gonna be sick. I had a crazy headache. And it was a lot of fun. And I called my homeboy. Well, BT called me. I texted him and was like, I think you might be right. I might kind of like comedy, but I don't know if I like stand-up. I don't know. Like, it was just too that. And I'm not afraid to speak publicly. But that was just next level. And I guess like that fear meant it was something good, like my nerves. Mm-hmm. But yeah, I had a killer joke. Which is based on a true story. And what happened was how they had it set up. Shout out to Lulu Gonzalez. That was our, comic coach. And so she told us to, like, they gave us these really nice, like, notebook journals or whatever, which I guess will be my joke book now. But it was like different themes, like write 2 things. So I did 3. So I was like, okay, I got a joke about, the family drama. I get in a fight, a midnight brawl with my mom, my granny, and my uncle, which is true. And then the other theme was special delivery. The roses that get delivered to my door by my sister's boyfriend that he has sent here makes me realize my boyfriend ain't shit. And then, but I said extra credit. Is there some sort of blood ritual that takes place when athletes get signed where they have to date white women? So all of them, she was like, all of them was good. So I end up telling the joke about the special delivery, and she tagged up my joke, which is when you tag it up, you just help, like, oh, you might say this instead of this, or add this on top of, whatever. So I took her advice. She had me slow down. She tagged up my joke, so I added in her extra joke, and then I added on top of that. Because I was like, shit, I was like, oh, I could say this. It came right on the spot. Shout out to public speaking and speech and debate, because you got to be able to be quick on your feet. So, yeah, that's what happened. It went really well. And then the next day, I did the Airbnb experience, an acting one with Bentley Evans, who is behind the Martin Show. He's also behind Jamie Foxx Show and a host of our other favorite TV shows, which was really well. Went really, really well. That one I wasn't as nervous. I was more so nervous because I got the script that morning, and I was supposed to had that script. So I went in there and killed it.
Man, no, this is dope.
So that's why when I said that Jason Derulo, I'm like, I got something for you. So yes, I saw it. So then those both were recorded. So I'll ultimately, when I get those clips, I'll put them on my IG.
Yeah, you got to. We send them on, man. I'll put them up on the page too, man.
We could do a collab post or whatever.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Put them on up, man. We definitely want to see that.
Lulu was like, y'all did what it took me 10 years to do in a matter of a couple hours, which is perform at the Laugh Factory. It's a whole thing to get in at the Laugh Factory.
No, that's a big deal for sure.
Yeah, they do first impressions for like, I think like, I don't know if it's just for Chocolate Sundays, but like some Sundays they'll do first impressions at the 7:30 show, which will be a couple of people that they'll have that, and they'll be like, it's a long wait list. It's like years. And then ultimately you'll be able to perform if you're good and well received by the audience on the regular lineup at the show. So yeah.
Man, don't know that. Dude, you know how dope that is? If you get to go into comedy, man, like, dude, like, you'd have a big show. I'm coming out there. I ain't been out there in a minute. I'm coming out there for you. If you,
I'm just trying to figure out my life. Like now, I'm like, okay, I got this real good joke, and do I go to like some other open mics and perform it and see what happens, and then start writing other stuff? And I was like, oh, maybe I could hit up my one homeboy. And he could be my coach, like how they say you like a rap coach on Brown Sugar.
Yep.
So we'll see. But it was a lot of fun. And they gave us this really dope JBL speaker as a thank you for coming out. So that was dope too.
All right. Well, hey everybody, check it out. We're gonna go into our interview section with Alan Govenar. It's gonna be pretty dope, y'all. Y'all gonna really enjoy it. And man, Don, where can people hit you up at before we go into this interview?
Y'all can hit me up wherever you social network at St. Angeles.
Yeah, and make sure y'all like, subscribe, all that good stuff. We appreciate y'all. We'll see y'all in a minute. Peace.
I'm Doja. This Sleep. Yeah, we part of Just Posted Podcast, man. The best show on this network. Come on, check, girl.
Seriously, man. Just Posted. It's just me and Doja sitting back talking about what the fuck going on in the world and the streets.
We said labor of love. He said labor of love. I ain't say that shit. Shout out to everybody coming to watch though, man. We really appreciate y'all. Holla at y'all later.
Hey man, this nigga just tall for no reason.
I'm gone.
And he do regular jobs. Don't forget that.
All right, welcome to Everyone Needs an Aquarius, our interview section of the show. Today on Everyone Needs Aquarius, we're excited to sit down with a storyteller who has spent his entire career shining light on the voices and histories most people overlook. Alan Govenar is an award-winning writer, filmmaker, folklorist, and founder of Documentary Arts, organization dedicated to preserving the cultural traditions, creative work, and lived experience that make up the fabric of American life. He's authored more than 40 books, produced acclaimed documentaries, and captured stories that stretch from blues musicians and folk artists to tattoo pioneers, civil rights history, and everyday people whose lives tell us something about all the deeper things that we see. Alan's work isn't just a document culture. It expands it. It challenges it. It invites us to see the beauty, meaning in our places that we miss. We thank you for coming on Everyone Needs an Aquarius. And thank you. Appreciate you coming on, Alan.
Well, thank you so much for having me.
Yeah, let's start out. So where did you get your start? Where does it all kind of begin for you in your career and your life?
It begins in my childhood. I grew up in an inner city neighborhood. I grew up in Dorchester, Massachusetts, in a triple-decker that my grandmother had bought in 1920. I was born in 1952. By the 1950s, this was a neighborhood in transition. There were lots of African Americans moving into this neighborhood in the 50s. There were Haitians, there were other immigrants that were coming into what had predominantly been a Jewish community. It was a time in which there was the beginnings of racial tension that existed. Fortunately, I had parents who were socially progressive. My father did a lot of interfaith work. He was a tireless volunteer. He was a Boy Scout for 35 years.
Oh, wow.
He worked with juvenile first-time offenders. He was really trying to make a difference in his world. And so I grew up in this atmosphere where I felt comfortable moving between worlds when most of the people around me were not. They were fighting against it. And so early on, I developed particularly an interest in African American music and culture. The first records I heard growing up were LPs that my father bought of Dizzy Gillespie, Charlie Parker, Sarah Vaughan,
the greats,
New Orleans R&B. So I grew up hearing black music, and it became an area that, I enjoyed. Didn't really anticipate, I guess, ever studying black music, but it was the music I loved. It was the music of the civil rights era. I was into R&B and soul, and as time went on, and I moved to Texas, my interest became more focused. And for me, coming from that environment, I was in Ohio for a while. I moved to Texas to go to graduate school. The Texas blues sound was something I hadn't really heard or known much about. And it was surprisingly not very well documented when I got to Texas in 1980. And so I began researching this music, and that became a threshold for me into a lot of the work that I do.
So, I mean, I don't know if have you seen the movie Sinners yet?
Yeah, I loved it.
Yeah. What did you think about the since you brought up the blues and things like, what did you think about the blues injections into that film?
Well, I thought it was, for me, I was responded to it in a lot of different ways. I particularly liked the scenes where it sort of harkened back to African music, because there was a project, a lot of my work when I was beginning in the 1980s, a lot of my take on American culture was more appreciated in Europe than it was in the United States.
Of course.
I mean, the whole interest in blues, for example, was in the US, it was very Mississippi centric. It was like, where was the origins of the blues? Well, for me, it was clear the blues was part of the African diaspora as it came to America, through the terrible and horrors of slavery and the aftermath. of what blues music became is an expression of freedom and the quest for a better life. So for me, my interest in the music had a big audience there, not so much in terms of, being a performer, which I never was, but in terms of the kinds of music I was interested in. I was very interested in roots music.
Yeah, because in Sinners, it was so much about the whole, like you said, the whole diaspora of African music and the form of it and how it is permeates throughout all the culture, especially the scene, the barn scene where you're looking from the outside and you're seeing all these different types of music that come from the whole diaspora from all different cultures. So let's go ahead.
No, I'm sorry to interrupt you. What I wanted to mention before we leave that was, the way in which it established kind of the African antecedents to American blues. My work in France led to me doing work in Africa. And
where in Africa were you at?
I worked both in Dakar and Nairobi. But in Dakar, I was invited by the French Cultural Center to do a lecture on African influences in African American music. And I brought a blues singer, John D. Holman from North Carolina. And they showed my films and I recorded African music. I was particularly interested in the griot roots of the American banjo. And so that scene in Sinners, where you see the performer playing the African banjo, I mean, I don't know exactly who that performer was in the movie, but he was very much in the ilk of people I had recorded when I was in West Africa.
Yeah, his name, the guy's name is Miles Clayton. He's like a child prodigy musician. Like he's been playing like the banjo or something since he's like 3. Like it's some crazy. I'm sorry.
Where's he from?
Where's Miles? Let me see here. I think he's from New York.
Really?
He's from New York.
Oh,
he's like a child prodigy. Like he's like this musical I think he taught himself. It's some crazy story he has. And that was his first film, obviously, that he was in. But he's been doing music for like he was 3 years old. It's a crazy story.
One of the people that I recorded in Dakar was a man, Baro Saul, and he had toured with Santana.
Oh, wow. Okay.
And he came to my hotel room with a little group, which I recorded. But he had this instrument. It was called a hodu. And it was a 5-string African banjo, chordophone instrument. And it had 4, it wasn't like a banjo, it was a banjo. And, John D. Holman, who was the performer I brought with me, was able to tune this instrument to an open G. But he had it was an instrument that had been made by a friend of his father's in the 1920s. And in the 1970s, when he toured with Santana, he put an electric pickup into this instrument. So it had this uncanny sound.
Yeah, it's something about that sound of a banjo that's like it feels very much not of here but of here, like at the same time in the whole time period. So what does a documentary truth mean to you? Like that's a part of what you've said documentary truth mean to you?
Well, for me, everything I do is in one way or another documentary. I mean, for me, my first writing, I started my first book. It was a collection of poems when I was 17. I started a book when I was 18. It became a novel, published 50 some years later, just this last spring, called Come Round Right. So a lot of my rooting is in creative forms. My documentary work that is more factually oriented is in a way an outgrowth to that. I mean, for me, reality reveals itself in different documentary forms. Sometimes it's a poem, sometimes it's a story. It can be a novel or a play. I work in musical theater. It can also be the recordings of someone I might meet and invites me into their living room to listen to what they can perform. So for me, documentary truth is what's presented to me. I believe the people I document. And for me,
But
I don't
how do you come up
want
with
to
the story?
impose this. I don't want to impose this, just my perspective on truth. For me, truth is ultimately objective. And sometimes there's more truth in fiction than there is in fact.
How do you decide who you're going to do stories with? Who deserves their story being told? Like, how does you deserve to be documented? Like, what makes you think that needs to be the thing I want to document?
I've always liked talking to people. And so I'm the kind of person who talks to people I don't know. And a lot of what I create, I hope has that kind of appeal. There's a musical of mine that I created called Texas in Paris. It was an off-Broadway show. I believe it was done in New York in 2015. And it was based on real people that I had met. My first show in Paris, stage show that I did in Paris, was in 1989. It was called Texas in Paris. And it was an African-American woman who had never been on an airplane before. She sang a cappella spirituals. It included a cowboy singer who at the time was breaking horses for a living. He performed at camp meetings and rodeos. And there was a street singer that I had met in Austin. And this became this show. Well, through that show, I became more intimately aware of the way in which everyday music has a everyday drama to it. And so years later, the interaction, particularly between the African-American woman and the white cowboy singer, became the catalyst for developing this show. But there was a certain messaging there. This was after, Ferguson, Missouri, and what happened there that I wrote this. And it became a show, a musical that's about the racism of ignorance. Two people who live in isolation of each other and have preconceptions. So in the stage show, it's about a singer, two singers who had never met. One lives in the inner city of Dallas and the other lives in West Texas. And they're brought to Paris to perform, and they have trouble understanding the French people who adore them when they speak English. So they end up having to talk to each other. So it becomes a dialogue about race that is in some ways unexpected, and they butt heads. And eventually they come together through their music, and they're trying to make sense to each other and make sense of their own lives.
When is set? When is the play set? Like, what time period is it set?
It was set in the fictional past. I mean, essentially, that stage show was in 2015. It's really set around that time.
Okay.
Because responding, it was a show that I wrote to respond to the situation. But by then that it became a stage show, the original people were deceased, and the elderly black woman was played by Lillias White, who's a Tony Award winner, and singing a cappella spirituals with cowboy songs. And that show took its shape, but it revealed a kind of truth about America. A lot of my work really is trying to cut through the veneer of just popular culture. Not that popular culture is not in its own way revealing and telling. So the medium is defined by the conversation. Flashing back, I met Osceola, the old black woman, through a member of her church. I was working on a folk festival. I wanted to bring a group of black kids doing hand clapping games into this festival. And the woman I was working with said, "You must meet Miss Mays." And I went to see Miss Mays, and she sang for me. And so, like many people that I interact with, I have sustained interaction. I mean, for me, I have a visceral response. You know, hearing her sing, you know, made my body, you know, I had goosebumps listening to her. And similarly, this white cowboy singer who I met in West Texas, who I met through a rancher who was fixing his fence line on the side of a road. So it all begins in conversations.
Yeah.
You know, and so that show is one example. Another is a film of mine called Looking for Home that I did over a period of 4 years, in the middle of which was, you know, the pandemic and the lockdown. But I was also going through a lot of health issues. And I just started talking to people in New York City about, on the street, about the meaning of home in their lives. And so the lockdown happens, and I meet this family right before the lockdown happens from Argentina in Grand Central Station. And I interviewed this 20-year-old girl, and she says, "Oh, please send me the interview." So I sent it to her. And during the lockdown, she started sending me selfie videos of her life in lockdown in Buenos Aires. And so I started getting these from different people around the world. And so that whole movie is about conversations. And that's became the basis of the medium of expression. In some cases, it's a visual reality. There's a film of mine called The Hard Ride, Black Cowboys at the Circle 6 Ranch. And it's a ranch. I was doing radio shows in the 1980s and came across this little ranch in Southeast Texas. And I photographed it. And 10 years later, I made a movie about the people at that ranch. So
it's interesting you bring up Black Cowboys. My uncle was a cowboy.
Oh, really?
Yeah, on the ranch in Argyle, Texas. He just passed away in July. But all the Black Cowboys came out for his funeral. He was a calf roper. He owned 4 or 5 horses. My cousin was a barrel racer. And he taught me everything about Black Cowboys. Books over there for days. Everything taught me on everything about Black Cowboys from the beginning to the end and how they're connected to, you know, everything that we're in our society now. So it's interesting that you did some stuff with Black Cowboys.
So where's Argyle, Texas? I don't know that.
So Argyle is north of Dallas, so like northwest of Dallas. Really? So it's in between, basically, in Denton and it's not Denton. It's close to Denton.
Yeah. I've never been in Argyle, Texas.
Yeah, my uncle was the first Black family to move to Argyle, Texas, when he moved there in the 90s.
Well, the area that I focused on were these 40-acre and mule ranches that existed and still exist between Beaumont and Houston.
Okay.
And these are, you know, there's a Black Rodeo Association there. And I focused on that. These were family-owned Black ranches. So these were Black cowboys who tried to compete, but because of the racism of the day, had trouble competing. They started their own rodeo. And that also became a stage show that I did in DC. I did it at the National Black Arts Festival in Atlanta. But yeah, the Black cowboy culture is finally kind of getting its due. Mm-hmm. I mean, when I was doing this in the 90s, it wasn't a lot of material out there. There's a young photographer, I don't know if you know the work of Raheem Fortune, the Black photographer in Texas, but Raheem, you know, is someone, he's much younger than me, but he's done an amazing job of kind of photographing aspects of the Black cowboy culture in Texas. Where are you? Where are you based?
I'm in St. Louis, Missouri.
Uh-huh.
I'm in St. Louis, Missouri, and that's where he was from. He's from the north side of St. Louis. And he decided at one point, I want to be a cowboy when he was a kid. And then he built his whole life around that and moved down to Texas.
Huh. Well, I've only been to St. Louis a few times. But do you remember a blues singer, Henry Townsend?
Yes, I do. Yes.
He was someone when I came to St. Louis that I interviewed for a radio series I was doing.
Yeah, I think Henry Townsend is from the north side of St. Louis, I believe. Let me make sure. Oh, he's from Wisconsin, Mississippi. Okay, but was he? So he was in St. Louis for a while. Oh, he was in Cairo for a while. Okay.
Yeah.
He's in Cairo for a while, which is a whole nother town that's in Illinois. That's basically like it's a ghost town almost now. It's one of those small towns that was a railroad town that ended up becoming nothingness now.
When I met him, he was in St. Louis.
He's in St. Louis. Okay. Yep. Cairo. He's from Cairo. So yeah, he came here, and that looks like he came here. Okay. Yep. In the '79, he was recording here in '79. It looks like I'm reading here. But I've heard my uncle has played them for me. Like my uncle put me on so much blues, so much culture of our history and where we come from as African Americans. But when you're writing and you're doing film writing, how do you see yourself more as a conduit, or do you feel that you're kind of just, witness or creator, or like where do you kind of fit in when you're making your things?
It really depends on the situation. I have great respect for the people that I document and work with. And so I want the people I'm focused on to drive the dialogue. And I'm a good listener, and I filter it into different forms. Depends what I'm doing. I mean, I might spend the afternoon recording someone like Henry Townsend and then go to my hotel room and write poetry. So, I mean, that's the kind of person I am.
Renaissance man.
Well, I don't know if that's it, but I have this creative impulse that keeps going. That's for sure.
So what do you think is your most impactful work of when there's something like that? I like when it's all said and done and I'm done. This is the thing of like, this piece defines my career and my work.
Well, it's in more than one form.
Right.
So I'm still very active. I'm 73 years old. I'm nowhere close to retirement, I hope. And I'm focused in different areas. So this year has been kind of a watershed year for me. I mean, it started in January with a 50-year survey of my photographs. And then in April, May, there was the world premiere of a new musical of mine called Stompin' at the Savoy. The story, and it's based on my book by that title. It's the story of Norma Miller, who was one of the first acrobatic swing dances at the Savoy.
Have you ever seen the movie Stompin' at the Savoy?
Oh, yeah. Yeah. But Norma lived that. And I had met Norma, and she was the choreographic consultant for me for another musical of mine that I did with Akeem Babatunde called Blind Lemon Blues. And Norma grew up in the 20s in Harlem and became a swing dancer. And she was working I was at that time, Blind Lemon Blues was about the 1920s and the music of Blind Lemon Jefferson. Well, Norma was in Dallas. I brought her to Texas, and she was sitting in my office, and she told me this great story about her as a girl, that in Harlem, she grew up in a tenement which faced the back of the Savoy Ballroom. And she saw, in summer nights, she'd watch the silhouettes of the dancers in the Savoy. And by the time she was a teenage girl, she was busking on the street. And one of the premier dancers of the day, a man by the name of Twistmouth George, came out of the Savoy and said, "Hey, kid, you want to dance with me?" And by the age of 15, Norma was touring in Europe. And so this is a new musical. The book of the musical is written by myself and Phaedra Michelle Scott. And it's basically a look at Norma's life around the age of 16. It's a coming of age story.
Oh man,
that show did very well. In May, there was a novel of mine that I alluded to, Come Round Right, which I started when I was 18. It's based on true events and something traumatic that happened to me during those years. And it started as a poem. It became a short story. I spent many years rewriting it, coming back to it, and finally that was published. So for me, that's one of my most important books because it is basically, I think, establishes a kind of groundwork. It's not a memoir, but it's about my coming of age. And it's an expression of that time when I grew up in that pivotal time between the end of the 1960s and the beginning of the 1970s. It's set in the fictional past of 1970 and the fictional present of 1971. Then there are a couple of nonfiction books of mine on tattooing that came out this year, and then currently there's a 40-year survey of my work with documentary arts that's at the Center for Photography at Woodstock outside New York City. And there are two shows there. One is called Everyday Culture, 7 projects of documentary arts. And another is a show called Kinship and Community that draws from an archive that I founded in 1995 with my wife, artist Khalida Doolin. And this archive is the Texas African American Photography Archive. And we have a collection that has built over the years that we're in the process of gifting and exhibiting. But this is a show that was curated by Nicole Fleetwood. And there's a book that's being published by Aperture about that collection. There's a book that goes with the Everyday Culture exhibition. So it's been a very heady year for me.
Yeah.
And it's been a reckoning of different sorts. It's gratifying, but it's difficult because I resist using the word culminate because I'm still making. I'm still actively involved. So we're hoping that Stompin' at the Savoy is going to have a production next year, the beginning 27 in New York. I'm still working on other books and exhibitions. And so for me, the best book is the one I'm writing right now.
Okay, I mean, and so my last question, this is a big one. No, it's a big one. It's what do you think needs to be documented now that someone needs to be documenting this now in 2025 going into 2026? What needs to be documented now, you feel, in your opinion?
Well, for me, it's been very also issue driven. There's a new film, a feature film of mine called Quiet Voices in a Noisy World, the struggle for change in Jasper, Texas. And as you know, there was this terrible lynching that occurred in Jasper in 1998. Well, I had gone to Jasper for the first time in 1996. Our archive was doing an internship program with historically Black colleges.
James Byrd, for people that may not know, James Byrd was the individual he's talking about.
Exactly. But so in 1996, I went to Jasper for the first time. This was 2 years before the killing of James Byrd. And the archive was doing an internship program and working with historically Black colleges in Texas. And the professor at Wiley College, his wife, was a grade school teacher in Jasper. And the archive is largely the work of community photographers who, like this photographer in Jasper, had another profession. He was a barber. He was an elder in the church, but he did photography because it mattered in terms of the self-esteem of his community. And he had died in the 1980s. I met with his widow, and she gifted these collections to our nonprofit, Documentary Arts, to this archive. Well, 2 years later, this horrible incident of extreme racial violence. And I stayed in touch with the people there. And so, like many of my projects, I have sustained interactions. And it's not that I talk to people all the time, but the people in Jasper. I did a show in New York at the International Center of Photography of this photography of Alonzo Jordan, the town barber and photographer. And there was a group who were alumni of the segregated school in Jasper, J.H. Rose Schools, and they got like 300 copies of my book. And at that point, we knew about 5% of the people that were in these photos. And they circulated this around the country to different people who had graduated this school, and they ended up identifying about 95% of the people.
Oh, wow.
And as time has gone on, this group of people, largely in their 70s and 80s, who are tireless volunteers, have been doing everything they can to turn the tide in Jasper. And they're reclaiming their own history. They're fighting against the politics of erasure. And they quietly do this. They're quiet voices. They put up signs, roadside markers for Black historical sites. They've built 3 little museums related to segregated schools, Black veterans of foreign war. They've started a scholarship fund for Black kids in this area. And so the movie is about what people can do on a local level to fight against the politics of erasure. Because for me, the most pressing need in today's world relates to issues of race and gender. I mean, I think that the politics of erasure must be addressed because we're going to lose this history that is so critical. It's not just Black history or white history. It's American history. We're all part of it. And so much of the political forces of the day think they can divide and conquer. And I'm not part of that world. I've always lived in a mixed world, and I'm very comfortable moving between worlds, crossing boundaries that other people do not want to cross. So I work with people who want to have an open dialogue. I started a nonprofit organization 40 years ago called Documentary Arts, but I've never been a full-time executive director. Everything is project-driven. Me, like everyone else that does, we're a group of like-minded people with a mission. I have a mission, and my mission is to make America a better place, a more equitable place. And so for me, even in the musical theater world, which is struggles for equality and equity, my main collaborators are Black. This is something that we do together. And so for me, that's the messaging that is most crucial to what I'm about and where I feel I need to focus as much attention as I can.
Well, Alan, thank you for coming on Everyone Needs in the Queers. Where can people reach out to you and check out some of your things and what you have going on?
Well, there are a couple of things that people might want to look at. The best source of general information is documentaryarts.org. But there's also an online magazine that we publish called truthinphotography.org, which is an open forum. We feature the work. It explores issues of truth in image making and the need for truth in image making, or how does one achieve truth in image making in this very AI world that we're confronting. And it's an international online forum that I developed with Documentary Arts, but with Magnum Photos, Aperture, and the International Center of Photography. And it features the work of everyone from high school photographers to some of the most famous photographers in different places around the world. So definitely check that out. You might want to check out the First Run Features website for my movies. I have more than 24 movies that rent for anywhere from 99 cents to $2.99 on Amazon Prime. I mean, most of my 40 books are on Amazon. So I joke often with my friends that
you everywhere.
Well, except I qualify that because I don't have that much hubris, is that my work is known in lesser known places everywhere.
But it's still known. You're still everywhere, though. That's the whole thing. You're still everywhere. You're still everywhere.
I'm not giving up. We're still.
You're internationally known and locally accepted.
Well, thank you,
Alan.
so much.
Thank you so much for doing this. We appreciate you coming on.
All right. Well, send me the link when you're done.
Yes, I will.
The I Only Listen to 90s Music podcast is a show for 80s babies who were 90s kids. If you were a No Limit soldier, then this is your show. If you believe that Cash Money is not an army but was a Navy, this is the show for you. If you and your friends ever tried to sing a song written by Escape In Vogue, Shy, or Boyz II Men at a talent show during middle school, this is your show. The I Only Listen to 90s Music podcast is a bunch of 80s babies talking about all the songs and things that we loved when we were kids and teenagers. So if you went to the skating rink and you were at a lock-in, this is the show for you. If you think that Tevin Campbell was the original Prince of R&B, this is the show for you. If you don't understand the conflict between Monica and Brandy, but you're kind of on Monica's side and understand why Brandy got punched, this is the show for you. Make sure that you tune in, subscribe, click the little subscribe link. We're here. We're going to talk about all things 90s music. This is the show for you.
And that is another episode of Everyone Needs an Aquarius. Thank y'all for checking us out as always. Want to give a big shout out to our guest that came on. He was dropping knowledge and great conversation with Alan Govenar. Make sure you like, subscribe, all that good stuff. And we will be back soon. Peace.